Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody's doing well. If you are new to this channel, you are very much welcome. And to my old subscribers, thank you so much guys for sticking around. Today we're going to talk about culture shocks. I'm going to share with you guys my culture shocks. I am a South African and I am currently living in the UK. I've been here for about 5 months, so I want to share with you guys my culture shocks based on my own experience. Before we get started, please remember to like, share, subscribe, comment. I would really like to hear from you guys, so let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is space. That was one of my culture shocks, my biggest culture shock, especially because we were looking for a place to rent. When we were looking for a place to rent, we had high hopes that we were going to get a nice big flat, and that was not the case. It was just not the case. I remember when we actually started viewing the flats, we find that they are very, very small, and the price was so high. It was so high. For the price that you pay here for a 1-bedroom flat, you can be paying it for a two-bedroom house in South Africa. And I also picked it up that they have a problem with space when it comes to like cafes or restaurants. You find that some cafes or some restaurants don't have bathrooms inside or toilets inside. You have to walk to the nearest mall to get a bathroom or to get a toilet because they can't accommodate that, and also they might not have enough sitting area. So when it comes to space, it's one of my biggest shocks, especially when it comes to renting. I was just like, how are we paying this much for such a small flat? We could be paying for a big house, a big 2-room house like in Waterfall or in Sandton. So why are we paying this much for such a small flat? So yeah, space is one of their biggest issues. And then this is my favorite one. The second one is how safe UK or London is. It's very safe, very, very safe. Actually, I'd say relatively safe. One of the things that I like about London is that you are able to walk during the night, or yeah, you are able to walk during the night with your phone on your hands, and you are busy on your phone. You're not worried that you're going to get robbed or something is going to happen to you. So that's one of my favorite things about UK. And it was a shock because in South Africa you don't do that. You just don't walk around the streets midnight with your phone like this. You are gonna get mugged. So it was like a bigger shock. I was actually very scared. I remember this other time I went out with a friend and she kept on leaving her phone on top of the table and going to the dance floor and dancing or going to the bathroom, and I was like, no, you don't do that, they're gonna take it. And she was like, no, nobody's gonna take it, don't worry about it. And I was like, wow, this is how people live in UK. This is very nice. So yeah, it's very, very safe. It's safe. You can literally walk during the night and you won't be worried of being robbed or This next one is accent. This was so embarrassing for me because I could not hear what they say. I was just like, is this English? Are they really, really speaking the same English that we speak in South Africa? And then I realized that their accent is totally different. And also because, I stay in London, and London is very diverse. There's different cultures, there's different people from different countries, so the accent is totally different than what you would get in South Africa. I remember this other time someone was asking me and my husband where we're coming from, where we stay, and then we were with friends, and then we had to tell them where we stay, and they were like, no, we stay in Greenwich. And then they were like, what? We say Greenwich? They had to correct us because they didn't understand what Greenwich we were talking about. So when we showed them on the phone, this is where we stay, and they say, oh, it's actually Greenwich. What? And it's written as Greenwich, but they pronounce it as Greenwich. And what else? I think, this other time, this other guy was saying mom to me. I was like, why is he calling me mom? Do I look like his mom? And then I realized at a later stage that he was actually saying ma'am, but because we as South Africans say ma'am when we're referring to a lady, or we're referring to a woman, we say ma'am, and for them they pronounce it as mom. So it's ma'am and then they say mom. It was actually weird, but it's just simple things that differ from how we say them, but it's actually the same thing, but then the pronunciation is totally different. Oh, this one is my favorite. I'm gonna talk about food, you guys. So when it comes to food, there wasn't much of a shock, but however, I remember this time I was craving maize milk porridge, so I went to the store to try and get to the supermarket to try and get maize meal. So I got there, I was like, I'm looking for maize meal, and they didn't understand what I was talking about. They're like, what is it for? And then I'm trying to explain, oh, you use it to make pap, and they just didn't know what is pap. So I had to realize that, okay, you know what, I'm not gonna get this, let me just forget about it. So it's small things like that. They don't have maize meal, or they won't have samp. If you feel like umngqusho is one of our traditional food in South Africa. So it's not that you can't find them at all. You can find them in certain shops, but you need to travel from one area to another area to go buy maize meal, and when you get there it's extremely expensive because it's not something that it's within their market. It's not something that people buy all the time for them. And then when it comes to shops, shops where you can buy food, I'll say restaurants, I'm not sure if they are restaurants, like KFC, they have KFC, and I would say that our KFC doesn't taste nice. Their KFC literally tastes good. They have the best KFC. I really love and enjoy their KFC. They also have Nando's. I went to Nando's twice, I think 3 times, yes, and I still felt like our Nando's is the best. And then they also have McDonald's. The McDonald's, I think everything tastes the same, which is also nice. Like when I miss home and I feel like eating something that will remind me of home, I can easily go to McDonald's, or I can go to KFC, or I can go to Nando's. So yeah, that was one of my culture shocks when it comes to food. This one is the last one, and it's walking. I did not understand why people walk so much here. I wanted to get on the car, take Uber, but I realized that it's what they do. They walk. And I remember this other time we walked about 10 k's. We were just walking from one area to another area, and I felt so tired because I was not used to this. Especially my body was in shock because 2 days later I had back pain, and I thought to myself, oh, it's probably the walking. And yeah, if it's not walking, it's either they're cycling, or they're using a train, or they're using a bus. People don't really drive in UK. They walk or they use public transport, which is so different when it comes to South Africa. It's like everybody drives or use public transport, but there's lots of people that drive. And for example, at work, everybody that I know, they either walk, use train, or cycle to work. Nobody drives. Even the biggest boss use train to get to work. So public transport and walking is the thing. It's what they do in London. So I had to sort of program my mind, my body, and just tell myself, you know what, I'm gonna get through, I'm gonna start working. But now I enjoy it. So thank you so much guys for watching, and I am still learning. I will still encounter new culture shocks. Obviously I've been here for 5 months now, so at a later stage I will share more culture shocks with you guys. And thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, comment. Until next time, goodbye.